Squad. Vanessa Contreras here, and today I'm with Spar Bernstein's personal injury attorney, David Levy, who is going to discuss a recent case in which he was able to get his client, a pedestrian who was knocked to the pavement by an SUV, a settlement of over $500,000. David, what a case.
It's great to be here with you, and yeah, it was really an incredible case.
Yeah, so can you share some of the facts of this case, please?
Sure. So it's an elderly lady, regular day for her. She's walking in a quiet suburban area in Queens, New York, and as she's crossing the street, vehicle was making a right turn and didn't see her and knocked her down to the ground.
And you guys were able to pursue and settle this case in less than a year.
Yes, we actually were able to get the case and settle it in a span of 8 months.
Now, does it matter whether the pedestrian is in the crosswalk or not?
It does. So the way the law works in New York is a pedestrian, if they're crossing in a marked crosswalk, which she was doing, and as long as they look both ways before they cross, the fact that they're walking in a marked crosswalk means automatically, as a matter of law, that any vehicle making a turn has to stop and yield the right of way to the pedestrian. A pedestrian in a crosswalk who looked both ways before crossing has the right of way, and any vehicle has to stop and permit that pedestrian to continue crossing.
And now, David, are there other things the law requires in a pedestrian hit and run case?
Well, there's a lot of things that you look at. So not all streets are the same. Some streets have a traffic light, a walk, a don't walk sign. In this particular instance, there was no walk, don't walk sign. There was just a stop sign for vehicles, and there was a marked crosswalk for her. There are some streets that don't even have a marked crosswalk. In this case, there was a marked crosswalk and there was no traffic light. Had there been a traffic light, obviously it would have been important that her traffic light would have said walk, or had the indicator that permits you to walk. That's all important as well. But as a pedestrian, as long as they look both ways before crossing, or if it's a one-way street, if the pedestrian looks in the way that the traffic is coming from and they're in the middle of the road, then it doesn't matter whether the vehicle saw the pedestrian, it doesn't matter if it's dark out, it doesn't matter any of those things. If the pedestrian does what the pedestrian is required to do, then legally they're in the right and the car will be blamed for the accident.
So it's safe to say that she was doing everything a pedestrian should be doing when crossing the street safely?
100%.
Okay, and what happened and what were some of her injuries?
So she was knocked down by the SUV. It was a very big car and she was an elderly lady. She suffered a fracture to her left wrist, and she suffered a fracture to her left elbow, and she suffered a laceration to her forehead. She was picked up by the EMS and taken to the hospital for examination. She was indicated and underwent 2 surgeries, one to the wrist and one to the elbow. And the surgeries involved the placement of a metal rod into her wrist and into her elbow, which is going to be there for the rest of her life. And the laceration involved obviously some stitching. And what happened eventually was, and getting back to the point and why it's important that we settle this in 8 months, is the average lifespan of a personal injury case, the average lifespan is anywhere from 2 to 4 years. The fact that we were able to do this in 8 months really speaks to how we view personal injury cases and how seriously we take them. Our job here is not to sleep on cases. The minute a case gets through our doors, we do everything in our power. We use all the resources at our disposal to ensure that we get the client the just compensation that they deserve as quickly as possible. And 8 months on a case like this, with injuries like this, we finished all discovery, we had all depositions, all documents were exchanged, all motions were filed, and the other side notices when a plaintiff's personal injury attorney moves cases quickly, and they tell their superiors that these people aren't playing around, they're very serious, and they're gonna ding us at trial if we let it get there. So by doing what we do best and moving cases as quickly and as efficiently as possible, that also ensures that the other side is gonna be paying maximum value for cases.
And what evidence were you able to gather to prove your client's case?
So in this case, we were able to garner the testimony of our client, who needed the use of a translator because she didn't speak English. We also were able to garner the testimony of the defendant, the driver in this case. We were able to ask around witnesses who had witnessed the accident and were listed on the police report. We hired an investigator to look for any surveillance in the area. We were able to accomplish all of that in the period of 8 months.
What is a note of issue?
After a case compiles, all discovery, all depositions are done, all documents are there, we file what's known as a note of issue at the court. And the note of issue is basically the plaintiff, the injured person, telling the judge, Your Honor, we're ready for trial. We have all the documents in this case. We have all the medical records. We have all the testimony. There's nothing else that we need in order for a jury to determine this case. The note of issue is us informing the judge, Your Honor, this case is ready for...
Excellent. And again, settled the trial. Over $500,000 in that case. So congratulations to you on a job well done.
Thank you, and congratulations to the client. And just to be more precise, the actual settlement was $675,000.
Wow. And how old was your client, David?
The client was 93 years old.
90?
So God bless her. God bless her. She survived an impact like that. That was an SUV, a four-door SUV.
Wow. Yeah. Thank you so much, David, for spending this time with me today and sharing that case. It's important that the Brad Squad knows all the great work that we do here at Spar Bernstein. And Brad Squad, you already know, to get in touch with our personal injury attorneys, you can always call 1-800-529-5465.
Prior successful results do not guarantee a similar outcome in the future. Thanks for watching. For more Brad Show Live, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel.